That's Tonga. That's the last sight of land. We are on our way to... Super excited. They're super excited. New Zealand. And as soon as we round this point, we can bear away and it'll be a little more comfortable. Because this is not a good start to a six-day voyage. So we've done 9 days. We had 24 hours in Tonga. Basically just slept and fixed some things on the boat and prepped it for the 6 days. And now we're off. Remember those pieces that fell from the top of the mast? Well, we figured out that those were parts of the Genoa halyard deflector, and that protects the halyard from chafe. We couldn't fix it until we got to New Zealand, but at least we know it isn't a critically important part. As unnerving as it is, at least we can keep sailing. Alright, so we've left Tonga. Today is now day 1 or day 10, depending on how you look at it. Kids are wrestling. We are doing good. We're basically heading due south now. So a little bit of a different angle. So the winds are now from the east, right on the beam. We've got our reacher up, we've got a reef in the main. Winds are at about 15, 17 knots, so we're cruising along, 10, 11 knots. We're doing good, zipping through the miles. If we can keep up this pace, it'll only be 4.5 days all the way to New Zealand. I doubt that's gonna happen, but we'll see. We're supposed to get easterly winds for the next 3 days, so Monday through Wednesday. Thursday, that cyclone that's coming through Tonga pulls the wind up from the southeast, so we'll have southeast winds. So we're kind of trying to stay as east as we can, and then when those southeast winds come in, we can kind of clock around and try and keep the wind on the beam at least and not have it too far forward. But you know, we're prepped for upwind sailing. We've got our staysail bag clipped in and ready to be hoisted, and we've got our reacher up right now. So we're ready for the winds. We're ready for things. Let's see how it goes. So far, so good. Looking good. So smooth. So night 1 or night 10, and things are okay. We're unfortunately a little bit more close hauled than I like. We're about 60 degrees off the wind, so we're going a little bit into the wind and waves. We've got 1 reef in the main and a full Genoa. We're going 8 to 9 knots, so we're doing well. We're not doing amazing. If it was on the beam, we'd be going 10 to 11 knots. So it's a big difference in speed, but it's not too uncomfortable, so we're lucky with the sea state. Nice sunset, good meal. So far, so good. All right, it's morning. That means time to shake those conservative reefs from the night before. One way we love to do this on this boat is just to point upwind to about probably like a 50-degree wind angle. We keep the Genoa sailing the boat, and we ease the main sheet to luff the mainsail. Then we can hoist and shake up that reef, hoist the main all the way up, and then sheet it back in, and we're off. We never need to turn on the engines or head upwind, and we shake those reefs. Right out. Just going back to the reach. Going 10 now. Yep. Not steady now. So today is night 2, I think, and everything's going well. We actually had the wind clock a little bit to east-northeast, so we're right on a true beam reach right now. We're going 9 knots steady, so that should be about a 215, 220 mile day. So we are cranking south. In fact, it's even getting cold outside. We're no longer 90 degrees, we just dipped into the 70s, so it's, whoa. It's now 79 degrees. It almost feels cold outside. So we've got 4 or 5 more days to go, so it's going to get colder and colder. But all's well. We're doing good. Making tracks south. Your wave defeats my life. So today is the third day out at sea, and we're doing well. We're doing really well. We did 205 miles the first day, and the second day we did 220 nautical miles. So that's right up. 220 is about the peak we've ever done. So pretty good for slowing down at night and reefing as per the reefing plan. We're not pushing the boat, and to go 220 miles in a day is just screaming fast. So we're doing great. We just shook the reef. We want to try to keep the boat maximized at about 10 knots. We're kind of going 9.5, 10 knots, 10.5 knots, surfing down some waves. So this is good. Plan is doing well. We're far enough south now that we're not worried about that cyclone. We should be out of its path. And 3 more days to go. So on Saturday, 3 days from right now, we should be on land. So if we can keep this speed up, that'd be great. A beautiful sunny day. Sorry guys. All right, so now it's a couple hours later. It's about 1:30, and now the winds have died even more. So now we got a full main and a full Genoa. We're gonna furl the Genoa and put out the reacher. It's time to keep going. We need to keep going 10 or 11 knots. Ten knots. Just gotta keep going 10 knots. Okay, it's sunset on day 3. We are right next to the Karamatic Islands. I'm dying to know if people live there, but unfortunately we're going to pass them in the dark. We're going to go within 15 miles though, so we might even pick up some cell signal to find out. But we're just about to make our turn towards Apua, New Zealand. The winds are, forecast is not look good. We're supposed to get 25 to 30 knots on the last day. So we're going to try to make as much southerly progress as we can before we head southwest. So we're waiting to get as much that distance down as we can. So we're just kind of eking out what we can. The wind's supposed to die tonight, although it's still holding up. We got full sail, full reacher, going about 10 knots. And we'll do this as long as we can, then motor sail as long as we can. And then unfortunately the wind will pick up. So we're trying to just get south, 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 south. So we'll see how we do. Okay, it's day 4, and we're about halfway, so we're doing pretty well. The weather, as you can see, has totally died. We're motor sailing right now, so we got full main, full Genoa, and we're going about 50 degrees into the wind at 8 knots. We'd be going 6 otherwise, so now at least we're keeping up our 8 or 9 knots. We're just trying to get south, south, south. So it's nice and smooth. The only thing is we know tonight about bedtime it's supposed to jack up to 20. So we'll see how that looks later on. But right now it's hard to believe any bad weather's headed this way. Beautiful morning. Alright, so I'm starting to get a little worried that we're not going to be able to make it to our destination. We are sailing as tight as we can with our Genoa, and right now we're pointing right at Apua, which is where we need to get to, but we're expecting that wind still to swing around, so we need to change something, either our sail plan or we motor directly into the wind for a bit to try and improve our wind angle. I'm going to download some new weather to see kind of what we think is happening as of today. Our weather data is 2 days old, and that'll help us make a decision. So this is how we download weather at sea. Our boat came equipped with an Iridium sat phone, which we can connect to our boat computer with this Sidekick Wi-Fi router. Then, using our Time Zero software, we send a compressed email requesting the weather details for our desired region. 15 minutes later, they reply with a compressed GRIB file. To be very honest, it's a bit of a clunky setup, and we've struggled to download the files without dropping the connection. If I were to buy a new setup today, I would definitely get the Iridium Go unit that combines the phone and the router. Thankfully, we were able to make our system work eventually. One incredibly nice feature on this boat, which not all Ultramares have, is a stay sail, which is just a smaller sail, almost like a storm sail. It's a little bit closer, kind of like a cutter rig, closer to the mast. It brings the center of effort towards the middle of the boat, and it helps us point upwind. So we don't typically sail upwind, we don't like that, but today we're going to be doing that, so I'm going to put it up now. This is where it lives normally. It sits in a bag on the deck, and it's rigged to go up on this halyard, and then the longeron has to be reinforced to take the stress of this type of a sail. We have that option. Oh, I got wet. I'm a little out of practice putting that up, but looks pretty good. It's a nice feature to have. We don't use it enough. A much tighter wind angle upwind. Perfect for right now. Oh, I'm getting wet. I gotta go back. Yummy. And sure enough, over the next couple of hours, the winds kept building. So yeah, this is going on now. Welcome to the new normal. That wave. Oh. Things have deteriorated pretty badly. We got 25 knots. Seas are very confused. We're going 8 knots into the wind. We're holding about 60 degrees. We're now run lining to a pua. If we can hold this angle and the wind doesn't continue to swing around, we might make it. But it's not going to be a fun ride. Things are getting nasty. Look at these seas. Whoa. We're still managing to go 8 knots. Whoa. This is crazy. Okay, so it's a couple hours later, 5:30 at night. Not looking forward to this evening. It's not going to be fun doing this in the pitch dark. And we also got what looks like the trough that we're kind of being hit with here right in front of us. The water's just getting ripped airborne. It's on everything, inside the boat, on the floor inside. It's just getting ripped up into the air. It's kind of crazy how calm it was this morning and what it's turned into. It's unbelievable. So I guess what happened, I downloaded the weather, the tropical cyclone and the tropical storm didn't end up coming as south as we thought, and this trough got pulled up, of course, in our path. So good news is we didn't get hit by a cyclone. Bad news is we got hit by this trough. So, you know, it's actually not that bad. We're going 7.5, 8 knots. It's a little bumpy, but got confidence in the boat, so just want to get there. Just making bacon on the middle of the storm. See that or not, but it's big. I'd say not huge, it's like 8 feet, but the effect on the boat is crazy. All right, so this is the start of day 5 or 14, depending on which way you're counting. So yeah, this will be our 5th day. So we left Monday, today's Friday. We've still got another day, well, all day today, and then 12 more hours, so a day and a half more to go, and we'll be there. But this storm is not letting up. We've had 25 knots for all night long, so the sea's kind of built up to something crazy. Stuff's happening to the boat we've never seen before. Drawers are being flung open. We've had to actually use those drawer locks, which I never thought we would use. But basically, this is why you buy a boat like this. It's for days like this that you know eventually you're gonna get, when cruising around the world, you're gonna get some days that are pretty nasty. And this is a day where you want 3 reefs in your mainsail. You want a stay sail up front. You want carbon reinforced hull. You want, solid glass to the waterline. You want a strong boat. So today, feeling very confident in Archer, and I know we can do this. It's just uncomfortable. It's not unsafe. That's the difference. But it turned out to be pretty beautiful out. The sun's coming up, 6 a.m. Probably 8-footers. We're getting there. You know it's windy when your mainsail looks like this. At least they're able to sleep. We had a wave pop over the railing and come under the awning here and then just flood the whole area. The water just poured right down into the bed. And then these drawers, radar alarm. These drawers have just been popping open. We actually had to use these locks for the first time ever. Okay, it's our final night. It is still very windy, 24 knots apparent on the beam. We are going 9 knots, very bouncy, lots of waves breaking over the boat. But, it's uncomfortable, but it's not horrible, so we're good. But last night, finally, we'll be in New Zealand tomorrow. So this is it, and then it's supposed to just die down. It's going to be super calm again by this time tomorrow. It's just kind of crazy to believe that that's how this works, but right now lots of motion. It is 11:25, final night. We'll be there tomorrow. Tomorrow night we will not be sailing somewhere. Which is pretty amazing in itself. This is 15 days. It's like crossing the Pacific Ocean all over again. I'm so proud of my family. I can't even believe that they've hopped back on board. There's been no complaints. Everyone knows that we've got to go through this to get out of cyclone season, and they've just done it. And particularly proud of this is not a fun way to come back to it. We're super looking forward to going to New Zealand. It's something we've always talked about and wanted to do, and we're going to be there tomorrow. We're so close, we can see it on the map. It's kind of exciting. But conditions continue to be bad. It's about 24 knots of wind, 25 knots of wind, huge seas. We're going 8 knots. We've got 3 reefs in the main and a staysail up. It's pitch dark out. The boat's rolling around. It doesn't seem it because I got this on a tripod, but water's coming over the boat. It's 66 degrees inside. It's just not fun. But for some reason I love it. So anyway, I'll show you the map. That's it. Final night in the books. Okay, so this is us. There's New Zealand. But if you look at where we've come from, this is the crazy bit. So we started here in Raiatea. We left Raiatea, checked out at Hynes, spent the night in Raiatea, and then we have been sailing. We had 180 mile a day downwind, 170, a couple short light winds, but then we picked up 191 miles, 196 miles, 197 miles, 180 miles, and then really fast, 204 miles, 216 and a half miles, 200 miles, 200 miles, 200 miles. That is it. That is a far, far, far way to go from here, Raiatea, up towards Saguaro, down past Niue to Tonga, and then zipping south to the Kermadec Islands, hanging a left, and then now we are so close we can almost taste it. We will be in New Zealand soon. So it's morning of the final day, day 5. I guess it's technically day 6, but it's going to be 5 days and 10 hours it looks like. We're only 70 miles away from land, and look, everything has just died. No more wind. We've got 10 knots of wind. We're sort of motor sailing. Everything's close hauled, and we're just trying to eke out what we can. But we got just a few more hours of motoring left, and we'll be there. It's crazy how it can go from like this to crazy windy and then back again. There it goes. Guess you're close to land when a fishing boat like that comes within 100 yards of you. Maybe we're in a good fishing spot. Come on, I'm waiting for you.
I just nailed this docking.
You totally did. You hopped off.
In my cute sarong.
You ready?
I don't know.
You're supposed to catch that.
No, just let it
I'm drifting away. Got to throw me on that cleat right over there. Better hurry up.
It's not long enough. You're not long enough, Seth.
You had your chance.
Okay.
No, go to that cleat. I'll just pull forward. Can you get it? It was your big moment. I had it all like perfect, and you were like, "Oh, it's not long enough."
It wasn't.
You look good though. Look at you docking.
I
Look at you.
Nailed this docking though. I really nailed it.
You look good. I'll give you
And
that.
I'm making a really nice dinner.
At the same time.
At the same time.
All right, we're in New Zealand. Look at this. Civilization. We made it. 15 days at sea. If we hadn't stopped for that single night in Tonga, it would have been tied with our longest voyage ever crossing the Pacific Ocean. I'm very proud of our family. We've been through a lot over the past 7 months, but now we're back where we're supposed to be. So join us next week as we catch up with friends, address a few of the things that broke, and then explore one of the most beautiful countries in the world. See you then.